Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Virgo April 2019 horoscope forecast, part 2 of 2. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Anyway, people, well, first thing up is as far as April goes, Venus will be in Aries from the 20th until the 30th. So the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now at this time, this could be a time where you strongly value aggressive and assertiveness in making a major change or transformation, and also a lot of courage and fortitude in a crisis situation perhaps as well. But at the same time, sadly, this may manifest in some cases as very impulsive and aggressive spending in a shared resources situation. Now, if you're unattached at this time, Virgo, you might find yourself connecting with an Aries Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or one that simply embodies Aries characteristics in a rather deep, non-superficial connection at this time. It could also be about valuing and enjoying, really about perhaps spending with little procrastination or hesitation, perhaps on things that are 8th house related, such as astrology, tarot, but perhaps anything with supernatural, the occult, insurance matters, even taxes if you have to do that. And also, if you're trying to take care of a debt, it could be about really spending very spontaneously or without that hesitation in order to take care of it. But at the same time, in some cases, if this is making a lot of adverse aspects to points in your natal chart, what could actually happen is you might wind up spending with a lot of impetuous energy, very impulsively and aggressively, which might actually put you in some kind of debt. I mean, let's say this is making an adverse aspect to, say, like your Saturn. You know, it's the planet of restrictions and limitations and sorrow, you could say, or even mean it could be something where something like that could cause an issue as far as that goes. Now, anyway, next thing up. Well, as far as April goes, well, Mars is going to be in Gemini, so the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, at this time, well, one way this may manifest, this could be about rather contentious and acrimonious situations, perhaps with a dominant parent, which is often the father. It could be also authority figures or supervisors or people prominent in your career. There could be a lot of harsh witticisms blended in with this, so to speak. You might find yourself having more confrontations with people in your career. It could be salespeople or that are in some kind of business that's connected with sales. And also you might become angry at a rather superficial, vacillating, contradictory dominant parent or authority figure. Now, if you're unattached at this time, Virgo, you might find yourself connecting with a Gemini Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or one that embodies Gemini characteristics with some kind of perhaps a sexual liaison or interlude. And it could be somebody that might impact your public image and reputation at this time. So anyway, and also, too, another way that may manifest is that you might find yourself becoming angry over some kind of gossiping that might affect your reputation and public image, and also perhaps about putting a lot of vitality and energy into a Gemini career, or the way this could manifest though as well. I mean, Gemini energy could also really about a lot of dissipation through lack of an integration and purpose. And you might find yourself playing categories and going into a lot of different directions. So it's very important to be careful and try to maybe concentrate on one particular thing rather than just trying to do maybe multiple things and not really completing anything career related at this time. So anyway, next thing up. Jupiter will still be in Sagittarius, so the 4th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, at this time, Well, one way this may manifest, this could be, as I've talked about previously, that Jupiter can be rather paradoxical. It could be strongly benign and benevolent, but it could also have a tendency to enlarge and expand. Now, in some cases, this may expand and enlarge rather foolhardy, reckless, over-optimistic, even tactless behavior from somebody you're close to home with. It could be a family member, the less dominant parent, which is often the mother, but also on a positive end, it could be very fortuitous for the expansion of a home, such as adding a partition, and also about the expansion of jocularity and joviality in your home, in your family life, and really, and also too, it could also be enlargement of Sagittarius qualities at the core, and it could be such as really seeing yourself as maybe more jovial, jocular, expansive, optimistic, upbeat. And what it is too is sometimes you have to really look deep for those qualities, because you got to understand the fourth house is about burials. Now, in a more figurative sense, I say this is really about qualities or characteristics that can really be strongly buried within us. So anyway, this could also be very auspicious for humor and goodwill at that end or that latter part of life as well. So anyway, and also perhaps very fortuitous for really getting in touch with your ancestry and roots at this time, and perhaps hope and optimism through religion, through philosophy in your home as well, even sports and outdoor activities with family members as well. So anyway, next thing up, Saturn will still be in Capricorn, so the fifth house is what we emphasized and highlighted. At this time, well, you may find yourself dealing with certain restrictions and limitations in your love life, with children perhaps. It could even be sorrow and some kind of dejection connected with some kind of gambling loss. You might find yourself at this time feeling somewhat despondent or melancholy, perhaps taking care of a debilitated or sickly lover or child at this time. It could be something Capricorn related, such as something with the knees, the bones, or the joints, and might be making you feel somewhat despondent, melancholy. It could also be about taking some serious responsibilities to gambling debts or to making the investments that you may desire to make, but of course with a lot of prudence, a lot of premeditation. It could also be, in some cases, this may manifest perhaps in a government restriction that may be prohibiting your fun, your enjoyment at this time, but also working laboriously at this time, and it might even be just working hard to have fun for yourself. I did remember doing it was like a solar sunrise chart for NBA superstar James Harden. If I'm not mistaken, he has Saturn in that. I don't have his time of birth, so I don't know his actual natal chart, but in the solar sunrise chart, if I remember it correctly, he either has Saturn in the fifth or conjunct the fifth from the fourth house. And I mean, he's somebody that obviously is somebody that works very hard and laboriously in the sport that he has involved in, and it seems like he takes a lot of responsibility in this as well. So anyway, and also too, at this time you might find yourself taking a lot of responsibility to some kind of career ambition that could be fifth house related, such as something with sports or entertainment, or something that involves something of a creative endeavor at this time. So anyway, well, next thing up is Uranus will be in Taurus still, so the ninth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, you might be dealing with more unusual, stubborn, obstinate behavior, perhaps from in-laws, from grandchildren. This could be a time, too, where Taurus friendships, they could be Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Taurus characteristics, might figure more prominently in your philosophical outlook. It could be perhaps with religious matters, with higher education, perhaps encouraging you to go outside the box, so to speak, and expand your horizons. This could be a time, too, where you're perhaps utilizing the computer and internet in a very steady and persistent manner, perhaps for publishing reasons at this time. And also it could be maybe educating yourself beyond high school. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, you might also find yourself taking an unanticipated long-distance journey. Could also, another way this may pan out, it could be about taking a Uranus higher education course, which you would strongly value. It could be something connected with astronomy or astrology, aerospace, even rocket science. It could be something with computers, with electronics. And anyway, it also could be, in some cases, it could be about adopting some kind of perhaps unorthodox philosophy or religion at this time as well. So anyway, well, the next thing up is Neptune will still be in Pisces, so the 7th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now at this time, well, one way this may manifest, this could be about the dissipation and dissolving perhaps of your relationships. I have this placement natally, and it's very difficult in deciphering the character composition of others. It's always your relationships, I mean, really are just about constant dissolving, dissipation. They're just people fading away. I mean, this is a little bit, it's not really, I know it sounds a lot like Pluto energy, but Neptune energy, what it is, it's more of a gradual thing. It's like if you're, say if you're interacting with somebody like on a daily basis, then all of a sudden it becomes every other day, then it's once a week, then it's once a month. So you get what I'm saying, it's more gradual dissipation, where Pluto is more about quicker obliteration and eradication. Now also too, again, going back, this a lot of difficulty could be deciphering character composition of others, and even open adversaries can appear rather unclear or nebulous. And a lot of this could be dependent and predicated on aspects this makes to points in your natal chart. I mean, let's say, I mean, if this is making an adverse aspect to your, to your Venus, it could really reaffirm really about the propensity perhaps to have that difficulty in really seeing others relationships for who they are. And if this is making an adverse aspect to your natal Mercury, well, your mind at this time could be a little bit more confused. And again, it's harder, it makes it very difficult to see the details and things in general, and that could include people that are you're in prominent relationships with, and even people that are your open adversaries. It may even be hard seeing them at this time as well. And it could be also too, on a positive note though, this can manifest perhaps in public speaking on the metaphysical, which could include astrology. You may also have the tendency to attract people that are perhaps that are in drug use or some alcohol, or people that are alcoholics at this time. It also could be a time where you're really giving a lot of yourself to others and not getting a lot of reciprocation. It's a lot of self-sacrificing energy. And the thing about it is, I understand this a lot, again, having this position natally. A lot of this is really where others may actually dominate your time, and you find yourself being consumed doing things for others, but not a lot of reciprocation in return. I also have Saturn in the 12th house, which might reaffirm this energy, because it's really, when you have Saturn in the 12th house, of course, that could be restrictions in your restrictions, so to speak. And what happens is you can encounter restrictions in terms of others helping you in terms of your own restrictions and limitations. And anyway, but also too, another way this can manifest, this could be about, in some cases, on a positive note, Neptune competition. You might get involved with such as something with dancing or poetry or photography, and also maybe imagination and fantasy, something of that nature. So anyway, Last but not least, Pluto will still be in Capricorn, so the 5th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now at this time, another placement I have natally, I have no children, no shocker there, but this could be a time too, sadly. I know a lot of you don't want me to say the dreaded D word, but you know I'm going to anyway. Is that in some cases this could actually manifest in an actual death of a child, of a lover, someone prominent in a creative endeavor you share, or some hobby, or something connected with some fun, amusement, or enjoyment you may share with somebody. Could also be in some cases where you might be dealing with more upheavals and power struggles with children, and really and with lovers in some cases. It's important too at this time to really guard against obsessive compulsive behavior with gambling and becoming some kind of compulsive or reckless gambler at this time, and really to on a positive note too, this could also be about the enjoyment of Pluto like things at this time. It could be doing something with recycling or the occult, the supernatural, astrology, something with investigation, going around with a metal detector looking for things buried, and also about attaining power through personal popularity. In some cases, though, this could manifest in the obliteration of that. I mean, a lot of this, again, could be dependent and predicated on aspects in your natal chart. I mean, if this is something where, I mean, say it's making an adverse aspect to your natal Venus, this could cause obviously some really some difficulties perhaps in your relationships and power issues with that, which of course could play a role maybe in the personal popularity to being to the detriment, or yeah, if it makes an adverse aspect to your natal Saturn, this could be something too where this energy can cause some kind of sorrow or dejection. So that would be more inclined to really maybe losing a lot of your personal popularity at this point in time. And of course, a positive aspect to Jupiter could be very benign. It's something that could be very beneficial and perhaps fortuitous for that. It's more about gaining power, perhaps through your personal popularity. And also, too, you might find yourself at this time, if you're an investor especially, you might be somebody that might be making a Pluto type investment, and it could be something like with nuclear energy, or something with recycling, and so anything that could be Pluto related. And a lot of this, whether it's something where it's prosperous or it's something where you may lose money, a lot of this, of course, again, could be predicated dependent on aspects as next to points in your chart. Positive sextile or trine to Jupiter, of course, could be very good, or even to Venus. I mean, Jupiter could be about prosperity and luck and fortune. Of course, Venus is about money. So anyway, people, well, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Virgo April 2019 horoscope forecast, part 2 of 2. Stay tuned next time, where I'll be talking about what I believe are the coldest zodiac signs. 2 things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel, but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.